But maybe Putin isn't that afraid yet. He still doesn't understand, or maybe he still has something on Trump, because if you take a close look at the situation, this is exactly how he's behaving. When Trump personally announced the truce regarding energy infrastructure, which frankly even Ukraine was completely caught off guard by and didn't know about, but quickly adapted and got ahead of Russia with its own statements, Putin failed to honor his word and didn't stick to it at all. Not even a week passed. At most, 3.5 days. And now, of course, this looks like a very strong slap in the face and a kick towards Trump from Putin. Trump is still silent. What do you think? Will he provide a formal response to the fact that Putin is demonstrating clearly to the whole world that he has absolutely no interest in any peace talks? Yes, and Trump in general is not an authority for him.
Wait, how is he silent? That old goat, and by that, I mean Donald Trump, just earlier this morning. After everything that happened to you last night, when you faced the largest raid yet, with more than 500 flying targets during the night, he actually said that everything in Ukraine is going fine, and that Putin is strictly observing the ceasefire. He said that this morning.
That happened. Sorry, I missed that.
There you go. So, in this sense, Trump is just a family old man. He is a sick and mentally declining man who is completely losing his grip on reality. And therefore, to treat him like a normal person and say, look how Putin is doing you there, well, we've already laughed about this with you. When your wife tells you in the kitchen, listen, you're an old fart and an idiot, Putin is manipulating you because you think he's making some kind of deal with you. Look, he's right behind you like a pig. On the very day you think you have something going on with him, you had a great phone conversation and made some kind of agreement with him. And on that very day, he bombs Kiev, hospitals, maternity wards. That's what Melania says to him. But when this happens in the kitchen and Melania says it to him, that's one thing. But when this idiot goes in front of the cameras and tells us about it, so he's basically saying, look, I'm an idiot, and my wife told me this in the kitchen, and now I'm telling you so you can also see what an idiot I am and how smart my wife is. What is he actually saying? That my wife is 10 times smarter than me. I'm a complete fool. Some idiots, Americans, elected me. I still can't understand why. Because Melania tells me I'm a total idiot, and every day she hits me over the head with a frying pan. So what can you do with a person like that? What serious conversation can you have with someone like that? And you're seriously saying, yes, Putin just spat at him. Yeah, Putin just spent the whole year telling him to get lost. Literally, for a whole year, he kept telling him to get lost. And after all that has happened, Trump rolls out the grand red carpet for him in Anchorage. And when Putin finally gets off the plane and walks slowly toward Trump, Trump is standing there waiting for him, enthusiastically clapping his hands and loudly applauding. Clapping his hands. Volodya came to see me. Awesome. He posts it on the White House website, but when everyone realizes what was really going on there, Putin was just slamming his face against the table, and Trump, what was his reaction? He just canceled the press conference. He didn't say, you know, Putin's a jerk, that's it, I'm bombing the Russian Federation. Yeah, he kicked him out without dinner. Yeah, he didn't even hold the talks. But they also removed those clapping hands, that applause, from the White House website. But we can't erase it from our memory, they just took it off the White House website. But on our internet, it's all still there, those clapping hands. We've got all of it. And what's more, this was in August. Then he went on to claim that Putin is a paper tiger. And after that, he proceeds to hang a portrait of Putin right at the entrance to the White House.
As a result, and we can see the result today, Putin is starting to rock the boat. This isn't the first month already. He's starting to rock the boat of a new war. For now, he's using this to intimidate, confident in his own strength. He's either trying to scare Europe or the countries of the post-Soviet space. Just in the past week alone, look, increased activity at military bases, military operations, the transfer of some reserves to the border with Finland. That's one thing. That's just what comes to mind quickly. Belarus suddenly receives new fighter jets, which they have been receiving. The number is not specified, but it is mentioned that, and in 2025 it received a lot of fighter jets. Here, I have my doubts after Operation Web and the reduced use of strategic aviation in reality during the shelling of Ukraine. But nevertheless, such messages are being sent. What's the latest? They quickly put Dmytro Medvedev on an IV and made him threaten the world again with nuclear mushrooms, basically. And all of this, by the way, is still happening against the backdrop of Here's a very interesting point. On the 5th, the Treaty on Non-Increase of Nuclear Arms expires, and last night, Ukraine was shelled by carriers of nuclear warheads, including warheads themselves. This is also a demonstration to the whole world. Is Putin really preparing for some new war, or is he just tightening the spring? Are our Europeans and Americans afraid too?
I truly believe he really is preparing for a new war, because someone, or maybe he himself, is fully convinced within his own mind that everything is just perfect for him, absolutely perfect. We often talk about how very difficult things currently are within the Russian economy. Putin, every time, notice this, whenever he holds a meeting, everything is always just perfect for him. Everything is going really great. We are all seeing growth. We have the best GDP. We have the best this and the best that. In every single meeting, we are now making some brand new missiles. So now they're launching some kind of Il-96 for 2026. An ultra-modern airplane that no one else in the world has. An ultra-modern aircraft engine. But in reality, there's nothing. Neither one nor the other ever actually flies. Well, I mean, they put together a single prototype. It flies, but it hasn't been deployed to Syria. 2 years ago, he was telling us that by 2030, well, I mean, the Russian Federation would manufacture 1,000 airplanes by 2030. Last year, they built just one. Just one, and it's old. I mean, it's an IL 2014. Well, just a single one, that's what I mean. Not that it's completely outdated like from Stalin's time, but it's an old design. It should have gone into mass production about 5 years ago already. But they still haven't launched anything. So basically, Putin is absolutely convinced that everything is just perfect for him. And against this backdrop, he's also convinced of another thing, that if a second front is opened in Europe, then instead of sending weapons to Ukraine, Europe will be forced to keep those weapons for itself. So Ukraine won't be receiving them. In fact, it's already not getting American weapons, the way it was getting them under Biden. And on top of that, it won't be getting European weapons either, because all the European countries will say, now we need them for ourselves, we can't share anymore. Before, when it was peacetime, so to speak, we shared, but now we have to hold back. And I'm convinced that this is what's on his mind. Putin certainly has this very much in mind. And moreover, we can even speculate together for a moment about when he might do it.
When?
Well, nothing comes to your mind this week?
Were you suggesting a possible fixation on specific significant round dates? Or perhaps some major international global events? No.
No, round dates, that's already been proven with Putin. Round dates don't work at all. Quite many people think of May the 9th, May the 1st, or something else. But no, that doesn't work. Nothing works. Even the anniversary of the start of the war doesn't work. So what does work?
What works are
the Olympic Games. The 2008 Olympics, with the opening ceremony held on the 8th day of the 8th month, August 8th, 2008. Putin is sitting at the opening ceremony in Beijing while Medvedev starts the war in Georgia. So that's the first example. And in 2014, the Sochi Olympics were held wonderfully. And right after that came the annexation of Crimea and so on. So now we have the Winter Olympic Games.
But you're skipping 22. After that, during the Winter Olympics, it has been widely rumored that he successfully obtained Xi Jinping's approval to invade Ukraine.
That's actually the most important thing. I forgot about that. That's true. The most important thing is that the full-scale war began literally the day after the Olympic Games in Beijing ended, because apparently he agreed with Xi Jinping not to do it during the Games, but to do it immediately after. So it's quite possible that now, and now we get anxious every time something like this happens. So this year we have two reasons to be tense. First, it's the Olympic Games in winter. And second, in the summer, there's the World Cup in the United States with Trump and Putin. Again, he might try to start something then. So it means that every 6 months now we'll be sitting here anxiously. So now we're going to be sitting here for a whole month. 3 weeks for the Olympic Games themselves, plus or minus about a week before and after.